Hello, this is Bricks to Builds here, and today I'm presenting the version 2 of Tyrannozor the Tyrant. A few years ago, I began a crew of my own ex-Decepticons, as I call them, known as the Tyrants. And their lore within my universe was basically that they branched off from the main Decepticon group, believing that they were not doing enough to achieve the true Decepticon goal of tyranny across the galaxy. So, under Tyrannozor here, who's essentially the leader, or the grand supreme leader, you could say, of his own empire, they split off from the Decepticons and form the Tyrant Empire. Tyrannozor here, as I said, he's the leader, he's the one who incited this rebellion, and I will be working on the rest of the Tyrant members in the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed so that you catch all of them. For those of you who have been around this channel for quite a long time, you'll remember the original version of this character. He became not really a real dinosaur. I said in the video that I was basing him off of the design of the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World. Now, soon after that video dropped, I actually began starting to get deep into real paleontology, and I began to actually appreciate the real-life dinosaurs that lived in this world. Hence, this newer, updated version of the design. He becomes, for anyone who's familiar with paleontology, if you're not and you don't know what this dinosaur is, I suggest you search it up, because it is a very interesting dinosaur. He becomes what's known as a Suchomimus, and it had the traditional theropod body plan of the long legs with the short arms, but they were more adapted for hunting fish, most likely along shorelines. So you can see here he's got the gator head. They had crests on their heads similar to this, which were likely used for mating. I wanted, obviously, the cliche dinosaur, and he would have suited this character perfectly, would be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But it's also super cliche, and I want to do something a bit different. So yeah, the head's like that. It's long, thin. These guys wouldn't have had a super strong bite force, especially compared to something like a Tyrannosaurus, but their teeth were conical. Kind of think like a Spinosaurus, which allowed them to grab onto things like fish more. Their arms were also longer than a T-Rex. They actually had four fingers on here, with their thumb claw being a bit bigger than the others, but the next size up in terms of Lego pieces was just way too big, so I ended up just keeping it how it is here, but it still looks pretty good. The body is longer, slender. The tail is also long and slender. It's got good posability. It can go across like this. It can go back and forth. This guy is very posable. And then there's also a ball joint there, up and down there. Some movements a dinosaur's tail wouldn't actually really be able to make, but it's all for the transformation. Then the legs, of course, can just go forward, back, bend at the knee, and then they got their foot there. Yeah, with this design of updated Tyrannozor, I really wanted to make him more still have him threatening and scary looking, but I wanted him to be based more off of real-life dinosaurs. And you'll see once I start to upload the rest of the Tyrants, that's actually a theme that I'm going to be sticking with for the entire Tyrant crew. Not all of them are going to be dinosaurs. In fact, Tyrannozor, as my lineup stands right now, is the only dinosaur. However, I will be delving deep into the world of paleontology to hopefully show some animals that some of you guys have never heard of before. Or if you have, you've probably never seen a transformer of one, because I certainly haven't. Now let's get into the transformation for this guy. His transformation is incredibly simple. It follows the exact same plan as the original Tyrannozor. I've just basically updated a few of the parts. So there's really not much to it, I'll be honest. He's simple, definitely. I'm going to be working on the rest of the Tyrants to make them fancier, but you just straighten out the hands like this. He doesn't really have much of an elbow. He just kind of has it there, and then he can just, yeah, it looks a little goofy. Pull those out of the way, and then we're going to come back down here, straighten out the legs. I think we can see where this is going already. Okay, straighten those out. This whole assembly comes down, folds like this. Now, one of the complaints that a lot of people had about the original Tyrannozor, understandably, was that he was a very skinny dude, and he's still not the buffest dude ever. However, he does have these arms fold down here, and that just gives him a bit more width to his body. Actually, I guess I should talk about Tyrannozor a bit more while I'm doing this. That the thing that he prioritizes is physical strength. He's a big, brutal, physical kind of character. You know, he'll have a whole army of dudes that just, or a whole army that'll come in right away and they'll just lay complete ravage to your planet. That's basically how they take over. But yeah, so then that arm goes down like that. That goes down there, and then, if I remember correctly, actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember what the original did with the tail. No, it became a whip, which is exactly what this version becomes. Just have to flatten out the feet for him to stand on. I can do that later. And the head is basically an updated version of what I had before. You pull that up, spin it around. Oops, that's something that can happen. Pull this part up, head folds out, and then looks to the side. That folds down there, and then that rests there and kind of forms a bit of armor along his shoulder. But there is Tyrannozor in his updated, and may I say, infinitely better robot mode. So yeah, as we can see, Tyrannozor just becomes a very big, physically, what could you call it? Physically threatening character. He looks, I kind of imagine he has that warrior, gladiator kind of look. He's very physically imposing. Exactly the kind of look that I wanted to go for his character. I like to imagine that he doesn't exactly, this is where his kind of character flaw is, that he believes the Decepticons aren't really brutal enough in their approach, that they prioritize planning and possible negotiation with the enemy too much. Tyrannozor prefers to just have an army of, say, 10,000 that are all loyal to him, a bit of a rough idea of where this planet is, and they all just fly straight in, and they just lay ravage to whoever attempts to fight back. Which we can say would work in the short run. He has managed to create a pretty big empire, and he's got quite some loyal, incredible followers that work with him, underneath him, and along with him on the Tyrant Council. But my lore for these characters is that ultimately, the Decepticons, once the right moment strikes, they will come in and they'll finish them all off, essentially. Posability is pretty standard of a Transformer. Knees, obviously, you need, or not knees, what are these called? God, I completely forgot the name of this articulation, but yeah, he's got that. Proper knees are down here. Ball joint feet, so those can move wherever you need to. On his left side, he doesn't really have much of an elbow. His hand, which become, or the Suchomimus claw, or head, which becomes the hand, kind of just hangs there awkwardly, but he's got the shoulder there, up, down, forward, back. The head can't move up and down, but it can move side to side. And this is the more articulated arm, because shoulder, back and forth, up, down line as usual, but it's also got that elbow forward and back, along with the whip, which can basically just go wherever you want. So you could get this guy in some pretty cool poses. But there we go. That's been a look at Tyrannozor the Tyrant. As I said, more of the Tyrants will be coming to my YouTube videos, and I will be making more YouTube videos of them, and that is a group of characters I've given a lot of thought, a lot of design to. I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing them, so stick around. Please give a like and subscribe. In fact, I'm going to give a little spoiler just for a few seconds here. I'm going to show off, I've already completed him. I'm going to show off the second member of the Tyrants just for 1 second. Boom. Is that enough? You interested now? I hope you are. If so, then make sure to like and subscribe, because you will not want to miss that guy and the ones I got coming up. So, yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.